When you are editing temperatures, you might want to use time series view and control points. Open the time serial view by clicking this icon, as you might remember from the visualization part. Here, you remember that red uniform line in the past is the observational data, and all the different lines here seen in the future are the different models available in your country, and the explanation can be seen here on the top right corner of the time serial view. Now there are, anyway, two quite important lines. So the last one, that is a little bit thicker than the other lines and is purple, it's the one seen here. That's the operational data. And that is, as we remember, the one in the database from which all the final products are made from. The blue, also thick line, is our current edited data. So the one that we can now modify. So if you click on the map somewhere, you can see how these are changed. Timeline works the same way as on the main map view or the map views 2 and 3, so you can zoom in and zoom out to visualize more details, for example. The vertical red line here is telling you the time that you are currently watching on the map, which is also shown as a green dot on both of the timelines. Now the data that we are visualizing is temperature, but note that it's a black temperature, so it means that this data is edited data. So as an example, if we add here ECMWF temperature, that would look different because it's the model and we want to visualize the edited data. So let's just remove the extra one now. If we click on the control points, we see the data in the control points. So you click a control point and it will become activated as shown with this red rectangle around the point. The black value here shown below this point is the current value of the activated parameter. So now we are having temperature as an active parameter, so we are seeing 2-meter temperature. So here, for example, minus 2.7 degrees Celsius. The number on the right hand side is not telling you anything important, it's just telling you in which order they have been added in the first place. But now the green value also has a role. So we might want to change the temperature by hand, based on our better knowledge, for example. Here I would like to decrease the nighttime temperature. So to visualize the nighttime, I can go, for example, time 00 UTC, and now you can also see my vertical red line showing the time here on the time serial view. I can simply, just with my mouse, press down the left mouse click button and start to drag. As you can see, I'm now drawing a new temperature line. And if I want to decrease the temperature, let's say it's gonna be minus 10 at some point during the night. For example, like this. I have now created a completely new temperature curve to this point. And now you can see also the change here above this activated point. So at this very time step, I have changed the temperature to be minus 4.9 degrees colder than it was before. But the change hasn't happened just yet. It's there waiting to happen. And I make the change to happen by clicking the modify button on the time series view. So if I now click modify, you can see how the temperature curve changed. Also the temperature value here changed. But now there is a very important point. Whenever you have clicked modify, it automatically suggests you to do the same change again. So doing the minus 4.9 degrees change again. And that's why you can see this dotted line here. This is what it would become if I clicked modify again. But I don't want this to happen anymore, it's not realistic to me. So every time I click modify, I need to remember to click clear afterwards. So now I press clear and you can see that this change waiting to happen has now disappeared. And also the temperature in the control point has changed now. And you can also verify it from the line. You can click undo. This is what it was before, so minus 4.6, and it looked like this. And then redo. you can see that it's colder, it's way colder than it was before, and also it's minus 9.5 degrees Celsius. You can modify multiple control points at the same time. Let's say I want to make more changes like this, so I do the changes just with my mouse by dragging it with my left mouse click pressed down, and I can do multiple control points just by clicking the control point, activate it, and then modifying the time series that opens on the right hand side. Be very careful that you are not leaving any rapid changes like peaks there, so you want the change to be very smooth. So we don't want anything like this. If you want to modify just one peak, you can also just click in the middle and it will come down. Also, when working with the timeline, you can do changes also further in the data. It doesn't have to be happening around this dot that you are looking at the timeline. But just remember that you are looking one time on the left hand side, even though you might change something happening also in the future. This is okay, but you just have to remember that. Okay, now we have done some changes. Let's increase the temperature in this one. And let's now click modify. So you can see these changes are waiting there to happen. And when you click modify, it will take an action. So for example, this will become 3 degrees colder than it was. Like this. If we now click this control point active, you can see that the change happened, and it's again suggesting this new change, which we don't want to do, so always remember after modify, click clear. Then you don't stack your changes so that you make something very unrealistic. It is advisable to add these control points to your largest cities, for example, and then try to make sure that the distance to the closest observation station is as small as possible. Then you can actually compare your weather forecast data with the observations and see if they are aligned or not. So you get a clue about a model error at that particular time. If you have the right data, you can also modify the current time and make nowcasting with SmartMap. So here on the time series view, you can activate CP-Ops blending, which is control point observation blending tool. When you click it, it automatically is suggesting you to use sign-up observations. So, for example, with this station here, it's actually a lot warmer than in our current edited data. So what I can do is that I drag this new dotted line to make new forecast. So as you can see, there is this red dot moving around when I drag this with my left mouse button. So it's drawing a new line. As you can see, now it's here. And if I'm happy with the result, I can click modify. And now you can see, as a result, if I take it off, you can see that my blue curve is now along the red one we just drew with this observation blending tool. So this forecast makes more sense because the actual observations and the forecasted data is now matching at the initial time. When you are doing control points edits, it's very advisable to use MPCP option, that stands for multiprocessor control points. Your computer might not support that option, but if it's possible, tick it on because it allows SmartMap to use more computational power from your computer, as these point-wise edits are usually quite heavy to the computer and take some time to do. So when you're doing edits, always remember to make smooth changes, and then when you click modify, pair it in your head with the button clear so that you don't stack your changes. After you press clear, then you can modify the control points again if needed.